Welcome back to another episode of our NATT swap series. And today we're going to dive into our intercooler piping portion of this video, and as well as our intercoolers. So down here we have got us 4 intercooler pipes. These are your main ones. 2 recirculation valves with hoses. We have some stock ones here. And we've also got these under the headlight twin turbo pipes that have, I think it's like an 1/8 inch or a 1/4 inch smaller diameter bungs here, at least from the NA. And obviously we have us 2 intercoolers. These are side mount intercoolers for stock applications. Definitely do not recommend running a front mount. Most front mount intercooler setups hinder a lot of airflow to your radiator and in turn causes your car to run much warmer than it should. These cars already run super hot, so you really don't want to have to contribute to any excess heat or intake air temps for that matter. But we're going to be running the 85, so we're going to be running about 10 degrees cooler all around in the engine. So we're definitely not going to have those issues, but we're still going to use stock side mounts. It's much easier to run stock side mounts. The piping's easier to run, way less complicated. Even though when you first get one of these and you try to put all this together and you've never had one or taken it apart before, it's very confusing. So I'm here to help. Previously in this series, sometime when we was taking the motor out, I assume I had to have taken these headlight pipes out, but we actually have to pull the AC condenser to, get these in and out easily. Technically we have to remove this condenser anyways, because there's no way that we can fit these intercooler pipes on the sides of this AC condenser. Which we actually do have a brand new AC condenser right here, and I'll drop a link to that for the product on eBay, brand new out of California. Probably more on the AC side of things. This video, it could be a half and half or both of them, where we have to figure out how the AC stuff works as we mount all this. If not, it will be its own video, but obviously you guys will find out this video. Your condenser is actually secured by 2 10 mils up here, and then you also have your soft lines over here. So this one here on the top, I believe stays connected. Yeah, this one stays connected to your AC condenser. So we're actually going to remove that piece from down here separate so we can actually swap it over to this new condenser. But here we have to disconnect this piece because we're going to reconnect this into the other condenser. So we're really just pulling this, kind of pull this up and pop it out the way, and then pull the whole AC condenser out. So let's start working on that. When it comes to AC stuff, I have no idea what the sizing is. I just know grab an adjustable wrench. So it actually turns out our line is pretty corroded and stuck. So we're gonna pull this one, and then we're gonna pull another one of these lines from a setup at the shop and try to get this all squared away. This down here is really just not wanting to budge, and I don't wanna strip it and make both of them worse potentially. Welcome to working on 30-year-old stuff. Yeah, no matter what I do, I can't get that loose. It's actually just twisting the fitting on the actual AC compressor. So we're gonna find something to cover up this the dryer, make sure that we're not pulling any moisture out of the air. I guess we can move on here to our AC. Now that we got those 2 bolts out, we're actually going to remove this 10 mil over here because it's actually holding the hard line that goes to this soft line. Once we have the front disconnected and those 3 10 mil bolts removed, you should be able to wiggle and break loose your AC condenser. It'll be stuck with these grommets here on the bracket, and you can begin to lift it up. Now that basically just opened up everything beneath here. So now we can twist and pull out our headlight pipe, finally. And honestly, that's probably the first thing that we're gonna put in. Now there are a couple different styles of these. As you can see, this one right here actually has a vacuum line. Well, they're not all like that, and depending on the year, I mean, this one I literally just capped it because there was nothing that I used it for. These are actually really simple. You just put them right in the place of the other ones. The same kind of secondary bracket setup right here, and then this grommet to bolt here on the frame rail. do the same thing over here. And we actually use both of the mounts, so these things are pretty much as sturdy as they're gonna get. And just in case you don't have it, this is the mount I'm talking about. There's a little secondary bracket. Okay, so now it's time for the intercoolers. So we're gonna have pretty much one intercooler pipe coming down and around right here, and then the other one's gonna poke through here. So you're actually gonna have to remove both of these little guards in here. They just have like push tab clips on them, 2 per side. Pry them out. You won't need that little plastic anymore. Not where we're going. But before we do that, we actually have something over here we need to take care of. And we started to pull the carbon canister out previously in the series. Well, there's no bracket over here and we just chopped all them lines. So now we're just pulling the 10 mils off so we can actually remove this hard line assembly. And our last one's right down here beneath the headlight bucket, right by that headlight pipe, or intake pipe. Before we can fully pull that off, we have to disconnect this Evap line from our fuel tank that pretty much brings all the fuel vapor up here to the carbon canister. So when we delete that, we're just gonna loop that. Well, I thought there was a little pipe down here, but I actually don't see it. On my car, I'm pretty sure there's like a little fitting that goes inside the radiator support, and it's like a vacuum hose. I don't know, we'll do a little bit more research on that before we say for sure, but this is still coming out. Chop it off. That thing was not coming off. And to the garbage. Well, that opens up a lot of room down here. So one other thing that we're gonna kind of have to finagle to fit these pipes in here, at least with everything in place, you're gonna have to push these power steering lines over, or at least like bend them over and kind of out of the way, so that way they hug these frame rails. Or not frame rails, but the radiator support brackets. Now we're gonna take our J-shaped intercooler pipe, and this one is actually gonna go back here. So you gotta kind of put it in at the right angle to tuck the mount bracket, kind of like this. Except it's the same thing that's on the headlights. On your NA chassis you won't have that, but this is actually a mounting point for a bracket down below. Kind of annoying to fit into place. If you cut it off, it's way easier to get in and out of place. And that's pretty much, it's gonna sit up here. We have a recirculation valve bolted to it, 212 mils. It's better to have your recirculation valve bolted here if you got silicone hoses, because they're still nice and pliable and you can bend them to where you want. But if you have OEM rubber hoses, you may want to wait to bolt this down until you get both of these on, because they're gonna be pretty stiff. This hard line is not on all of them. Pretty much it's just a line that comes down here to the recirc and then comes up top, so you don't have to run a line all the way down. So this is gonna pop out up here, and then we're gonna tuck this lower portion down here beneath the AC dryer. So this is where everything starts to get questionable, because I've never done one like this with the AC yet, but I know it can be done. Kind of got this into position. We'll pull the other hose up and we're just going to insert it into the recirc valve. I guess I was wrong, I totally forgot. It's been a while since I've installed these. This piece up here actually mounts up by the radiator support on a turbo chassis. This piece down here, there's a little secondary bracket. That's where this threads into and secures them to each other. So as I'm coming down here to fit these intercooler pipes, I'm noticing that we're rubbing on not only the smaller AC line, but actually the power steering line. So we're going to move it out of the way, and this line needs a little bit of finagling. So we're going to bend this inwards, kind of closer to us, while keeping it kind of tucked back here and out of the way. So I actually think we're going to take the corner of this and we're going to pull it back and around to kind of square around this AC condenser, so we can still use this part down here for the intercooler. And at the same time, that's going to keep it tucked back up here and out of the way. May need some minor adjustment, but I think for right now we just made a lot of room. definitely closer. Now we're pushing on the power steering line. As you can see here, this power steering line is stuck out quite a ways. Pretty easy solution here, and we're just going to disconnect this 10 mil bracket, or not 10 mil, but this 10 mil from the bracket, so we can flip the bracket out and we can actually scoot the line over as needed. See all the extra play we got? We can kind of move it accordingly to kind of where we want it now. Dang it, the GoPro wasn't rolling. So as I flipped this up, I pried it up and I pulled the AC out of that little C-clip down there. I actually took this and I pushed it over, so now we can pull that C-clip out, and that gives us like another inch or so that we can move this power steering line over. Or we can leave it bolted and bend it kind of down here to tuck it back and tuck this in. Therefore we can still leave that bolted there. We'll try to do some little testing here and we'll report back. Well, probably 3 minutes later, look at that. It's like hugging the rail now. There's a little bit more that it could go, but yeah, unfortunately the bracket definitely could not stay. If it does, we can make it work, but it's kind of pulling it out even more. We will make it work before all is said and done. We'll come up with some kind of little bracket or something that we can make and bend up out of some scrap. Won't be a big deal. Let's pull these back up. See where we're at. As you can see up here, we'll need to bend this a little bit. Kind of like twist it over here out of the way. Like bend it right here this way. All right, yeah, right now we kind of tuck it up on that high pressure line. We managed to get this recirc hose on this bottom pipe, or headlight pipe, whatever. I don't really know what to call it, a G pipe. And we're hooked up here on the back. We obviously don't have no hose clamps here because we are test fitting. Since it's silicone, it's no big deal to pop it off and fit it on. It's starting to look like we have officially contorted our AC lines to work for a twin turbo. I guess we're not done yet because I did just have a thought. We got to do something here. The reason I say that is this fitting is right by this recirc hose. I'm not sure how we're gonna run that. Maybe we'll run it through that way. I guess I'm gonna have to look at my factory twin turbo at home before I say this 100%, like on the AC part, but for now, for the intercooler part, it looks good. I just hope it doesn't bite us in the butt, but stay tuned for the rest of the series if you guys wanna figure out how this turns out, and you guys will know for when you apply this for your own car. So here's our parts left. We pretty much have one side left, and then we have both of our intercoolers. These are our intercooler pipes. Recommend getting silicone new ones, not the old, you know, stiff rubber ones. With that being said, let's install an intercooler. So this is basically what an intercooler looks like from factory. It's got this intercooler air duct. It's got this mount over here, and it's also got a mount back here. I believe it bolts back here somewhere. Maybe here, I'm not sure. This one, I don't say it's necessary. I only recommend getting these because it bolts right here to your frame rail, and you can pop little grommets out that should be there and just bolt it in with 12 mil bolts. These are not mandatory. This is probably the first set that I've ever had myself on these factory full intercoolers. That's why I've got them held to the side for my own car. But this is just a general idea of how to mount them up. You've got those slide grommets with the washers and whatnot to mount your bracket. So we need to mount some brackets over here to these stock intercoolers. They should have this metal sleeve in the middle. Unfortunately, all of mine don't, but I'm just going to use a washer for now, and we go back to the old shop. We have plenty of old stuff there that we can start to pull and pick some grommets and stuff to use for this. Looks like, unfortunately, I don't even have hose clamps for my intercoolers, so I gotta grab all my T-bolt clamps when I go back to the shop later. Yikes. So much for getting this all done for the last time. Looks like I gotta take it all off again. So I kinda recommend doing this from the start anyways. Kinda loose fit all your hoses, get them roughly in place, so that way you can adjust them easy. You're not like putting them on, tightening them down, and then they're stuck to that spot. As you can see, it bends. There's a couple different ways. Both of them, the long hoses bend like this, and then the short hoses have the same kind of bend. I don't know if they're identical. They could be per side, so that's why I say you probably want to test fit and try these on loose before you seal the deal, or else you could just fight and struggle. I did it that way the first couple times, and well, I tell you what, this is the only way I do it now. Now we'll take the elbow. This one's gonna kind of point upwards to get that intercooler pipe that has your recirc valve on it. This is about how it's gonna look. For testing purposes, we went ahead and grabbed this fully complete one, so we don't have to mount these up until we have the grommets. But here is literally some bolts from your hood that holds your hood on your hood latch. Same size bolt, pretty much the same standard 12 mil bolt throughout the rest of the car. It's exactly what mounts these down here as well. Get a couple of these where you get a little bit of thread penetration, just enough to be able to hold these on. As we fit this in here, we're gonna point and shoot this intercooler pipe, get it started. We're gonna lift this bracket up, and then we're also going to pop our other intercooler coupler on the other intercooler pipe. We can come over here and begin to bolt the bracket on. And intercooler is pretty much mounted. I know that wasn't really in depth back in the nook and cranny showing you what to do, but I know you'll be able to figure it out. For the intercooler piping, the back one, pretty sure the piping jogs inwards instead of going out. Yeah, our couplers are fully on. Got your fog light wiring right here. Route that as needed. Everything over here still hooked up. A little bit of question there. Yeah, so far so good. Like I said, we still just got to bend this kind of out of the way. That's going to be probably one of our last bends here, except we're going to come to the driver's side now and start to mount everything up. And as I look, we got plenty of room. I don't think we're going to have to undo this bracket. I think we may be able to leave that in place, but we're going to take the wood block and the hammer, try to persuade that over some. Well, it's moved, but not as much as I'd like it to. I think we're going to try to hit it up here on this top piece so we can kind of maybe bend this section back and it'll pull that lower section in. Yeah, that's the way to do it. So yeah, that has kind of bent this side out a little bit. However, that's not going to matter. It's not going to come in contact with anything. If you really want to, you can unbolt that, make another kind of secondary bracket and tuck all that back. It's probably what we might end up doing. Let's grab our intercooler pipes. Again, this one goes down here, get the bracket in right, and just twist it up into place. And we have the other recirc pipe. Now let's put the coupler in for the recirc. Now we can pull this one up, grab a 10 mil bolt, and we can mount these together. And on this side, we got plenty of room for our recirc pipe. Since everything is in place over here, mirroring the passenger side, we're gonna grab the other intercooler couplers and mount them up. Sometimes it helps to zip tie these up right here, kind of hold them in place while you mess with everything down here on the intercooler side. With our coupler pointed up, and this one bent inwards, start both of our couplers. Take our 12 mil and secure the intercooler to the body. A little bit of persuasion later, it's on all the way. All couplers are good enough, got enough bite. We got probably another 1/4 inch we could go here. But obviously without all of the hose clamps, I'm not gonna push that because that just means I have to do it all again here when I get the hose clamps. I hate stock old rubber hoses. Silicone is so much better. It stays soft, stays pliable. You don't have to worry about forcing stuff like that. Drives me nuts. Now I think we're gonna grab the AC condenser. We're gonna pull it out. We're gonna try to sit it down here in place just to make sure that we have everything at least far enough to the side. So that power steering line down here actually was perfect. Nothing's coming in contact down there. We're all good to go. Nice and new. It's warm out today. Don't forget to swap your little grommets over too if you haven't. It's looking pretty spot on, other than this bracket over here. It's kind of wonky and it's to the side. So it obviously fits good. It looks good. Not bad. Just a different kind of style of condenser. Doesn't have the tops. It's just kind of open fin. Should be good down here. Thinking maybe we can run it up in here or in behind the recirc coupler or hose and back. I don't know. We'll have to bend that line a little bit more. I'm gonna have to say that's probably the worst one to bend, mainly because it being brittle and the size of it. It's not like you can get a whole lot of leverage to just straight up bend the thing. But I think that's gonna wrap up the video. I mean, I guess I thought this video was gonna be a lot longer. Tried to cover every bit of ground that we could here. Sitting good, mounted good, looking good. Don't mind the shop. It's still an absolute wreck from us working over here on this and from us working on Derek's car that he actually just picked up last week. Well, we've been officially almost to the point of recording here on the motor. So I didn't record putting the other head, the other cams, all that stuff back on. I didn't record doing this. I wasn't gonna record these, but I kind of decided maybe I'll do a video of resealing it, getting it back to the point where it was. Even though I said in the previous series that I was calling it off once we got it down to this point because we was gonna do all the timing stuff. Wasn't gonna show you guys all that because we have a lot of videos like that and I don't wanna make another one with a different name. I know it's good information, but I feel like I'm just constantly saying and doing the same things in all of my videos. Yeah, sorry about the light. I gotta sort something out with that. And I hate being repetitive. So I don't want to be full-fledged in the how-to business, if you know what I mean. I feel like I've kind of got too used to that. I've been running with it for too long. We're going to start doing what we want. You know, maybe not fully record all customer projects and stuff. Obviously, this is a good series for you guys to know, but I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of boxing myself in the YouTube industry. I would love to do this for a job and be able to have more opportunities and do a lot cooler things. So that's why I don't want to box myself into just doing 300ZX DIY or how-to videos. Hope you guys understand what I mean. But I'm pretty stoked with how this thing came out. It's looking good. Cams are spinning. Nice and juicy. Yeah, that good old assembly lube. So I think we're just going to start off the next video since we've really thinned down the pile. Starting to feel better about being in the shop. We'll do our NOx sensor, our lower intake, and we'll just get everything where we can get it all put back together, timed, maybe get our covers clean, just everything assembled to where the video after we can start on our turbos and stuff here on the sides. Reason we're not doing that yet, we actually don't have turbo oil lines. I have everything else, but we're gonna run braided turbo oil lines. We just got that ordered today. I also remembered a couple other little odds and ends that we're missing, but for now, that's all we're missing to go from the turbo part. That was what I wanted to do for this video, and I was really pushing for, but stars didn't align. If you guys want to see more, don't forget to stay tuned, and don't forget to drop a like and subscribe down below so you can stay tuned and you don't miss out on future uploads and videos. I've been kind of thinking about doing some live streams, like getting a Wi-Fi extender, getting like recording out here while we work or something where we can talk to you guys live a little bit here and there. You know, I don't know, just something cooler to do. If you guys think that would be something cool or something you guys would be interested in, drop it in the comments below and let a brother know. The GoPro camera's too hot. Summer things, I guess that's what we got to look forward to. Well, until next time, you guys, see you then. Peace.